There are almost 2,000 ballerinas in Moscow. Every month, a ballerina needs about 5 pairs of their main professional shoe, a ballet pointe shoe. Moreover, a prima ballerina requires no less than 30 pairs per month. Pointe shoes wear out very quickly. During just one performance, a ballerina can run the astonishing equivalent of 11 kilometers. That is why a ballerina needs several hundred pairs of pointe shoes each year. Some of the world's finest ballet points are made in Moscow, in this building. The Grishko factories have been making ballet pointe shoes and tutus for more than 20 years. This world-renowned Russian brand creates a highly regarded product. In the Czech Republic, ballet pointe shoes are simply called Grishkovki. American, Japanese, English, and Italian ballet companies accept a wait time of several months to receive a pair of Grishko pointe shoes. This is because every pointe shoe is handmade, utilizing a unique technology developed by Russian scientists. What is the secret of Grishko pointe shoes? Why are ballet dancers so interested in getting their feet into them? How is a stage costume, a ballet tutu, made? To learn about all this, we'll visit the world-renowned Grishko factories. Let's try on this model. It might fit you. You should be sure to push your foot all the way in to support your joints properly. Having her feet measured for pointe shoes is a critical event for every ballerina. In the ballet world, a specialist that understands the subtleties of proper measurement and pointe shoe selection is called a pointe shoe fitter. A fitter should know more than the details of shoe technology. They also need to understand the specific demands of the ballerina. That is why it's important to know what performance and what role she'll dance, and its requirements. Based on all this information, a ballet pointe shoe is selected. First, a ballerina's foot is measured by length and width. Then her foot is traced on a sheet of paper. The selection of a pointe shoe depends on precise measurements and trying out several pairs to ensure the closest possible fit. A poor-fitting pointe shoe can cause serious injury. Ballerina typically weigh 43 to 45 kilos. However, when she lands after a jump, the stress on her toes is about 110 kilos. If the construction of a ballet pointe shoe doesn't absorb this pressure, it'll spread through the dancer right up to her neck bone. A ballerina's feet are measured at least once every year. A ballerina's feet are measured at least once every year. If she does not wear the correct pointe shoes, a ballerina's feet can become damaged by the age of 25 or 27, such a young age. Naturally, every 6 months or so, they ask me to change or correct something, and we adjust the shoe to the foot. After the measurements have been taken, the order for ballet pointe shoes is sent to the factory. Here, every pair of pointe shoes is made by hand in 3 days. The first step is making the sole for a pointe shoe, or as the factory people say, its bottom. The sole is made from cowhide. It should be solid, not a composite piece of leather. It is used specifically for pointe shoe soles. The sole is made from leather taken from the back of a cow or a bull. In ancient Rome, it was used for making armor. The armor was soaked in salt water, then shaped and dried. This specialized machine cuts pointe shoe soles. There are 17 of these cutters in the factory. Bearing in mind that every pair of ballet points consists of 2 shoes, all the parts should be cut as a pair as far as their thickness, strength, hardness, and other features are concerned. After they are cut, the soles are sent to this machine, where important information is embossed: size, width, shank, trademark, and the inscription, "Made in Russia."
Здравствуйте, девоньки. Готовы? Вместе? 2, 3. Так. Вместе, Джоечка. Раз. Так. Стою нос.
At the same time, in another workshop, specialists that create stage costumes have already cut the best tool for sewing a ballet tutu. The quality must be good. The tool isn't soft. It must be stiff enough to keep its shape. When you sew two layers together, they should not flop or droop. It takes about 12 meters of tulle to make just one tutu. Each tutu consists of 9 tulle layers. The length of each layer is 5 meters. To make a tutu skirt, the tulle must be gathered in hundreds of pleats, 3 centimeters each. The seamstresses do not make any measurements. They know every measurement by eye. When all 9 layers of the tutu are ready, they should be stitched correctly, so that the tutu will be full and stiff, so it does not droop or flop when dancing. I've gathered all the layers, and now I'm sewing them to the panties. I've also trimmed the bottom of the panties. This is a tutu yoke. The tutu skirt begins with the yoke. I will also sew in hooks, sew an elastic band to the panties, and stitch the pleats one by one in each layer. At this point, the tutu does not possess its principal quality, stiffness. The transformation is just ahead. At the Pointe shoe factory, the time has come to cut fabric. However, unlike the tutu, 5 different types of fabric are used for making ballet points. Special blades allow 60 layers to be cut at once. It looks like a fabric cake, almost 10 centimeters high. Between the linings, we put natural unbleached calico that is 100% cotton. For the lining, we use bleached calico. By its composition, it is also natural cotton. For making the main hard part of a ballet pointe shoe, its box, we use jute. Everything in a ballet pointe shoe should be selected for durability. Jute is used because it is a strong material that makes the box frame. We may call it the reinforcement of the box. Glue and jute, or a mixture of jute and flax, give the framework to the pointe shoe. The only delicate soft material is satin. It is used for the upper part of a pointe shoe. Here, a completely different aspect is important: beauty. Half a century ago, all ballet pointe shoes were pink. Now they're light peach. The choice of this color is also unique to the Grishko factory. Bearing in mind that the box, a very important part of the pointe shoe, is assembled from a multi-layered set of materials, very often the ballet points could look bulky if we didn't use the satin fabric. However, it is exactly this delicate-looking peach fabric that hides the bulk of the pointe platform. There's another secret in pointe shoe fabrication: nanotechnology. During the first 3 minutes of intensive exercise, a ballerina's feet can produce 6 grams of sweat. We treat the fabric inside the pointe shoe with silver nanoparticles. We do this ourselves, and one of the research centers in Moscow prepares the solution for us. Silver prevents bacterial growth in the shoe as well as protects a ballerina's feet from bacteria. After all of the material has been prepared, it is given to the sewing workshop, where the fabric is assembled into soft slipper tops. They're sewn inside out. Other professionals will turn them out and create solid pointe shoes. The transformation of light tulle into a firm tutu is truly magical. The dressmakers have left something like a thin pocket or on the edge of one of the 9 skirts while stitching them together. Now it's time to explain what it's for. We simply have a layer where we sew on a strip and put a steel wire on it. As a matter of fact, thanks to this steel wire, the shape of a circle is preserved and the tutu never droops. Then we stitch it and it gets its true shape. Next, the layer with the hoop is placed exactly in the middle of the tutu, with 4 layers above and 4 below. There is one more requirement. All 9 layers must be a different length. Now the tutu is complete. However, it's only a rehearsal version. To gain stage costume status, the whole upper layer must be transformed and decorated. Meanwhile, at the pointe shoe factory, it is still a long way before the final decoration stage. It's time to cook glue designed specifically for pointe shoes. It consists of natural ingredients, and that's why it is almost edible. Glue consists of flour and dextrin. Dextrin is an intermediate starch product and serves as an additional component in the form of a stabilizer. Since the factory applies corn dextrin, specialists verify the origin of the corn the starch is made from, as well as what the relevant weather conditions were. All of this influences adhesiveness. Since ballet pointe shoes are special footwear, glue production also requires great care. First, glue is rested for a long time, 3 to 4 hours after kneading. Then the glue makers check its readiness with careful perception. Only after this do they verify readiness with special equipment. Glue should have another important characteristic. It should not set for 45 minutes. This is the time required for a cobbler to assemble the most important part of a pointe shoe, the box. In total, there are 70 shoemakers at the pointe shoe factory. Within 8 hours, each cobbler makes approximately 9 pairs of pointe shoes. When we interview a new cobbler, one of the things we ask is what hobbies they enjoyed as a child. We ask if they ever made plasticine or clay models. If they enjoyed modeling with plasticine, it means that there are more chances they will succeed at this job. If they were interested in sculpting, then they will be a real professional. 50 cobblers at the pointe shoe factory have hearing disabilities. They are considered to be the best workers. These specialists have a different feel for ballet footwear. A deaf person's lack of hearing is compensated by well-developed tactile skills. They have excellent spatial, visual, and size comprehension, which is essential for those who are engaged in pointe shoe making. You can't learn it mechanically. This should be your vocation. The first step in pointe shoe assembly is attaching the soft fabric slipper to the leather sole. They're stitched together with very strong special threads treated with wax. Then the magic begins, assembling the box. The box is made of 6 layers of fabric, 2 layers of bleached calico and 4 layers of jute, varying in density and size. After all of the box elements are ready, the cobbler assembles the layers and then covers the box with them.
После подготовки деталей, необходимых для коробочки, мастером промазывается послойные. Каждый слой.
When the box is complete, it's time for the unique smoothing mirror hammer. It's a special tool used only in point shoemaking. It creates a completely flat and smooth surface on the outside of the box, in particular, the toe of the shoe, which is called the platform. This hammer is especially designed to avoid any pulls, snags, or cuts on the satin fabric. Another interesting note about Grishko cobblers is that they will sit on a special care called a lipka, which affects the process. A lipka is a special backless leather chair. It was introduced in the 18th century for shoemakers. The final stage in the cobbler's work is balance. Each point has to balance on its own without any assistance from the ballerina. Every pair of point shoes is balanced on its platform by its cobbler before it leaves their desk. Thus, it imitates a ballerina's movements. The size of a platform on a point shoe is 2.5 square centimeters. It is almost half the size of a matchbox. To create a point shoe takes 111 technical operations and the assembly of 55 elements. Many foreign companies decided to simplify production and began to place plastic boxes inside their point shoes. This kind of point shoe cannot easily mold to the shape of a ballerina's foot. In stark contrast, Russian ballet shoes do provide this unique capability. After becoming moist with use, the point shoe molds to the shape of the ballerina's feet. When it dries, it maintains this shape. When putting it on the second time, the ballerina finds a cast of her feet. That is why during the production process, point shoes are not designated as right or left before use. They're suitable for either foot, and then after one use, they mold to her foot. Two days are left for point shoes to be ready for a stage performance. In the meantime, there are only a few hours left to finish a tutu. We've been watching its creation as it becomes a real stage costume. The only thing left is to decorate it with sequins and crystals. For these purposes, there's a specialist who gives the final sparkling touches to the English tulle. A needle, superfine threads, and glittering decorations. And there we have it, a very chic tutu. It's time to send the point shoes to the drying kilns. Here they will be baked at 45 degrees Celsius for 12 hours and not a minute less. Otherwise, the glue will turn into cookie dough. After the oven, the shoes are left to stand at room temperature another 12 hours. Finally, point shoes are ready. It took 3 days to make a pair of point shoes, but their life is short, almost like a butterfly's, no longer than a month. For me, it's always hard to look at a dying point shoe. It's like a living being to me.